Okay, so it's me, Bakes, here to give you a little bit of a breakdown on a two-part series, what to take on a backpacking trip and how to pack it. Today we're going to start with just what you're bringing with you. Now, on Google Classroom, I've sent you all a list of all of the things on there, and I've broken it down to clothing, actual camping gear, and then any optional gear that you might want to bring with you. But I've laid it all out here to give you an idea of sort of what you're going to be bringing with you, and I'm going to show you a couple of options. So starting off with the camping gear, you have your tent, right? Other options for this are a hammock, or you can use sort of a mini shelter. But again, sometimes when you're dealing with ticks and that kind of thing, those kind of bugs, you do want to be inside of a tent, right? So you can be in a hammock as long as it's enclosed, right? Hammocks, ticks probably aren't going to crawl up in, but again, those types of things are things that you may want to think about, mosquitoes and that type of thing, depending on the time of year that it is. Tent, right? You've got your sleeping pad, right? You've got your sleeping bag, right? And again, depending on what you want to pack your sleeping bag in, sometimes I don't use a stuff sack at all because then it kind of squashes around a little bit more and gives me more room. But again, we'll talk about that on the next part. I always bring myself a little pillow. I'm soft that way. Right, then I've got my clothes, right, and I've taken the liberty of just sticking everything in here to show you sort of what an average maybe clothes packing thing besides what you're already wearing might look like, right. In addition to that, I've left my Gore-Tex jacket out because as you're going to see tomorrow, we're going to pack that separately, pack it on top so it's always accessible for us, right. I usually bring like a little camp towel, right? So that just in case, wash your hands, or you know, you decide to take a dip because it's nice weather, or you want to wash your feet off, you can dry yourself off. Okay, other important things: headlamp, right? And then your cooking stuff. Now, I usually bring, if it's just me and one other person, I'll bring a small little compact stove like this. It's called a Jetboil. It lights really easily, automatically, right? It burns fast, and it only does a liter and a bit of water, but if you, this one actually only does half a liter at a time, but if you're doing, if what you're doing is preparing dehydrated meals or oatmeal or things like this, this can be a great way to save some space, and it also saves some time. The other thing about this that's great is if you have a situation where somebody becomes hypothermic, like we talked about in class, then you have something that you can make a quick hot drink for them. So always a good thing to have around with you. Your first aid kit, of course, right? Always want to have one of those with you. Your food, again, I've taken the liberty of, because we've done trip plans already, of giving a sample size of what you might have for food. Again, this is considering it's just maybe you and another person. Depending on how many people there are and how you pack and what you decide to bring with you, this can change. But remember, you're always looking at what space you have and sort of what you can bring with you in terms of little luxuries, okay? If I'm bringing a larger pot set, like one I do with large groups, right, I'll bring something like this with, it'll have a 3-liter and a 2-liter pot in it so I can boil more water or cook larger things at a time so it's not slopping over the side. The last thing that I always pack sort of separately is I have a separate bag for hot drinks, soups, any mixes. I usually put my water purifier stuff in there as well. And extra tablets, anything like that. This is just, I always know that my little green bag is my bag of drinks, right? So I have hot drinks like hot chocolate, hot apple cider, those types of things. Again, right, somebody's cold at night, sometimes that's a nice way to just warm somebody up. And you always bring a few extra because it doesn't take up much space, okay? In terms of cutlery and utensils, plate, bowl, right? This little thing, my kitchen kit here has, you know, forks, knives, even has a little salt and pepper thing and camp suds and all those little things, scrapers, everything I need for around camp. Other things that I bring with me, of course, are sunscreen, bug repellent. Always have a little multi-tool because you never know when you're going to use it. And depending on the trip that I'm going on, right, if I'm going to have wood available to me, I'll bring a hatchet or sometimes a little compact fold-away brush saw, right? Should go without saying that you should always bring a water bottle. I always bring two. I have sort of a 1 liter water bottle that I use for sort of standard things, right? And then I have this one, right, which I'll use sort of around camp at night. The nice thing is it's got a little solar thing with a little light in it, which you can't see here, but good for nighttime. I can actually just leave that on so I can see inside my tent. So that's the stuff more or less that we bring with us. Okay, next set, we're going to pack it all up.